Imagine navigating life's storms from a calm refuge, untouched by chaos. This video, inspired by the 10 key principles of Stoicism, will guide you to cultivate judgment and develop emotional resilience. Epictetus taught us to focus on what we can control, our perspectives and reactions, and not on the uncontrollable events around us. These lessons teach that virtue, not fleeting desires, forms the essence of a good life. Join us to explore these principles, which pave the way to inner peace regardless of external conditions. But before we begin, here's a challenge. Watch until the end to discover the key principle that could transform your life. Number 1. Firm purposes. The principle of firm purposes underscores the essential role of clear, unyielding objectives in navigating the often unpredictable currents of life. In Stoicism, a firm purpose isn't merely a specific goal or ambition, but a profound commitment deeply embedded within one's core values. It acts as a moral compass, guiding decisions and behaviors consistently, regardless of external pressures or fleeting desires. A firm purpose equips individuals with a clear direction during times of confusion and uncertainty. It offers a stable framework within which they can make decisions, prioritize actions, and allocate resources. This unwavering commitment ensures that one's efforts are not scattered or superficial, but are instead concentrated on what truly matters most. Cultivating firm purposes involves a deliberate and often rigorous process of self-reflection. It requires one to critically assess personal values, passions, and long-term aspirations. This introspection helps to identify the principles that are truly significant and deserving of lifelong dedication. The process of defining these purposes often leads to greater self-awareness and authenticity. By understanding and embracing one's true motivations, individuals are better equipped to resist the allure of external rewards that do not align with their deeper values. They become more resilient to societal pressures and transient temptations, focusing instead on goals that fulfill a more meaningful and sustained sense of accomplishment. Firm purposes also foster perseverance. When challenges arise, as they inevitably do, a solid foundation of purpose keeps individuals motivated and focused. It acts as an anchor in stormy seas, providing stability and confidence. The strength derived from a clear purpose enables one to push through obstacles, recover from setbacks, and continue forward with an unwavering spirit. Number 2. Would you give your body to a stranger? This Stoic principle prompts a compelling analogy to highlight the importance of guarding one's mind with the same vigilance as one would their physical body. The idea here is to question why we often readily allow our thoughts, emotions, and consequently our peace of mind to be dictated by external influences, just as absurd as it would be to relinquish control of our physical bodies to a stranger. Managing the mind requires recognizing that just as our bodies are sacred and solely ours to control, so are our thoughts and emotions. Stoicism teaches that external events do not harm us. Rather, it is our interpretation of these events that causes distress. This principle advocates for a fortress-like approach to mental discipline, where one is vigilant about what influences are allowed to penetrate the mind. To implement this principle effectively, one must first develop a strong sense of self-awareness. Understanding your emotional triggers, habitual responses, and vulnerabilities is crucial. This awareness acts as a defense mechanism, enabling individuals to recognize when their peace is being threatened by external opinions or situations. Practicing mindfulness is another essential strategy. This involves remaining present in the moment and observing one's thoughts and feelings without judgment. Mindfulness helps to create a space between external events and one's reactions, providing the opportunity to choose a more deliberate and aligned response. Additionally, cultivating mental resilience through Stoic exercises, such as negative visualization, contemplating potential adverse outcomes, prepares the mind to face actual challenges without panic or excessive distress. This preparation empowers individuals to maintain control over their reactions, thereby safeguarding their mental peace. Ultimately, the principle of not giving your body to a stranger serves as a metaphor for the rigorous protection and intentional management of one's mental space. It calls for a disciplined approach to emotional and cognitive self-governance, ensuring that one remains the master of their mind and, by extension, their life. Number 3. If someone speaks ill of you. The Stoic principle concerning the handling of criticism or negative remarks from others teaches that true control lies in one's response, not in attempting to control what others say or think. This principle is rooted in the Stoic belief that external opinions are beyond one's control and therefore should not disturb one's inner peace or self-regard. Understanding and internalizing this principle begins with the recognition that every individual operates based on their perspective, which is shaped by their unique experiences, biases, and emotions. When someone speaks ill of you, it is often more a reflection of their state of mind and less an accurate assessment of your character or actions. To effectively apply this principle, one must cultivate a strong sense of self-awareness and confidence in their values and decisions. This involves developing a clear understanding of one's motivations and ensuring that one's actions are aligned with their ethical and moral standards. When you are secure in the knowledge of who you are and confident in your path, the negative words of others lose their power. Moreover, adopting a mindset of compassion and empathy can also play a crucial role. By trying to understand the reasons behind others' negative remarks, one can respond with patience and gentleness instead of defensiveness or retaliation. This response not only preserves personal peace, but can also diffuse potential conflict and lead to more constructive interactions. Lastly, practicing forgiveness is integral to this principle. Letting go of grudges or resentment frees one from the emotional burden that often accompanies feelings of being wronged. Forgiveness does not mean condoning negative behavior, but rather choosing to move forward without harboring negative emotions. Number 4. Insult and offense. This Stoic principle revolves around the perception of insults and offensive behavior, emphasizing that the real impact of such experiences is not determined by the actions of others, but by our reactions to them. According to Stoicism, when someone offends us, it isn't the external actions that inflict pain. It's how we interpret and respond to these actions that matter. Stoics advocate for a thoughtful pause before reacting to perceived insults. This pause provides a moment to reflect and choose a response that aligns with one's values and desired outcomes. By doing so, one can prevent automatic emotional reactions, which are often disproportionate and can exacerbate conflicts rather than resolve them. Another aspect of dealing with insults involves redefining personal perceptions of offense. Stoics encourage the view that being insulted is an opportunity for growth. It tests one's resilience and ability to maintain composure under pressure. By reframing insults as tests or challenges, individuals can transform potentially negative experiences into sources of strength and character development. Moreover, maintaining a broad perspective is crucial. Understanding that everyone has their struggles and that offensive behavior often stems from another's pain or frustration can help mitigate the sting of insults. This broader perspective fosters empathy and reduces the personalization of hurtful remarks. Practicing resilience through daily Stoic exercises such as meditation and reflection, strengthens one's emotional stability and prepares one to handle insults more effectively. These practices help develop a mental fortitude that acts as a buffer against the negative impacts of offensive behavior. Together, these principles empower individuals not only to withstand negative remarks without emotional disturbance, but also to use these experiences as catalysts for personal growth and emotional resilience. They teach that mastery over one's reactions is a more reliable source of strength than attempting to control the external world. Number 5. Fear and dishonor. The Stoic principle concerning fear and dishonor addresses how we process and react to external judgments and societal pressures that can evoke feelings of fear or shame. Stoicism teaches that these emotions are largely the product of our own judgments and beliefs about what these external pressures signify about us. Essentially, Stoics believe that by changing our perceptions, we can control our emotional responses to the opinions and actions of others. To tackle fear and dishonor effectively, it is crucial to understand that these are not just feelings, but judgments we make based on what we think we should be or how we believe others see us. Stoicism suggests that these judgments often do not align with reality and are instead distorted by our misconceptions or exaggerated fears about societal expectations. Developing a Stoic response to fear and dishonor involves several steps. Identification and analysis. Recognize when fear or shame arises and identify the thoughts causing these feelings. This involves looking deeply at what you fear or why you feel dishonored and questioning the validity of these feelings. Rational evaluation. Assess whether your fears or the dishonor you feel are based on rational thought or if they are distortions created by misguided beliefs. This step is about separating facts from interpretations, focusing solely on what is truly within your control. Internal values. Reassessment. Realign your values according to Stoic principles, which emphasize virtue and personal integrity over external validation. This involves prioritizing your moral character and actions over how others might judge you. Embrace courage and practical wisdom. Develop the courage to confront and accept these negative emotions without letting them dictate your actions. Use practical wisdom to make decisions that reflect your true self, rather than decisions aimed at avoiding fear or recovering honor in the eyes of others. Implementation of virtuous actions. Act according to your intrinsic values and virtues, regardless of the potential for external disapproval or misunderstanding. This steadfastness can transform how you perceive threats to your honor and reduce the impact of fear on your life. By understanding and applying these Stoic strategies, individuals can liberate themselves from the constraints of fear and dishonor, leading to a more authentic and fearless way of living. Number 6. Anticipating obstacles. This Stoic principle involves the proactive anticipation of challenges and obstacles, equipping oneself with strategies and mental fortitude to face them without disturbance. Stoicism teaches that by expecting and mentally preparing for difficulties, we can handle them more effectively when they arise. This preparation not only reduces the emotional impact of these challenges, but also enhances our ability to navigate them with grace and efficacy. Anticipating obstacles is not about fostering a pessimistic outlook, but rather preparing the mind for possible realities. It's akin to a warrior training for battle, where the preparation is as much about building mental resilience as it is about physical readiness. This Stoic practice encourages a balanced view of the future, where one hopes for the best but is fully prepared for the worst. Implementing this principle involves several practical steps. Visualization. Regularly visualize potential challenges that could arise in your personal or professional life. Imagine how these challenges could play out and what would be the best responses. Strategic planning. Develop contingency plans for different scenarios. This planning should include defining clear action steps and alternatives if initial plans fall through. Emotional preparedness. Mentally rehearse your emotional responses to imagined scenarios. This helps to desensitize you to the shock or stress that real obstacles might provoke. Flexibility and adaptability. Cultivate a flexible mindset that is open to change and adaptation. Recognizing that no plan is foolproof allows for quicker adjustments and solutions when unexpected issues arise. Reflection and learning. Reflect regularly on past challenges you have encountered and learn from them. Understanding what has previously worked or failed improves your ability to anticipate and handle future obstacles. Through the practice of anticipating obstacles, Stoics aim to enhance their resilience, ensuring that when difficulties occur, they are ready not just to survive, but to thrive. This readiness not only minimizes anxiety and fear, but also empowers individuals to take proactive steps towards their goals, regardless of the hurdles they might face. Number 7. No one can hurt you. This Stoic principle emphasizes the power of personal agency and resilience in the face of external criticism or emotional harm. It posits that no external actions or words can truly hurt us unless we permit them to impact our emotions and beliefs. According to Stoicism, our reactions and the meanings we assign to external events are within our control, even if the events themselves are not. To effectively apply this principle, it is essential to develop a fortified mental stance that regards external opinions and actions as neutral. This means viewing them without an automatic emotional response or perceived personal attack. The practice involves several key strategies. Cognitive reframing. Learn to reinterpret the actions and words of others in a way that reduces their personal impact. This might mean understanding that a harsh word could be the result of someone else's bad day and not a true reflection of your character or actions. Emotional detachment. Cultivate an emotional distance from the opinions of others. By not tying your self-worth or emotional well-being to what others think or say, you maintain your internal peace regardless of external circumstances. Rational response. Instead of reacting impulsively to perceived slights or criticisms, take a deliberate pause to consider a rational response. Ask yourself whether the criticism is constructive and how it can be used for personal growth, rather than perceiving it as a threat. Value alignment. Regularly affirm your own values and beliefs. When you are clear about what you stand for, it becomes easier to brush off comments or actions that don't align with your principles. This alignment acts as a shield, protecting you from being emotionally destabilized by external judgments. Practice of virtues. Engage actively in the practice of Stoic virtues such as courage, justice, temperance, and wisdom. These virtues fortify your character and provide a strong foundation from which to interact with the world confidently and calmly. Number 8. Repressing your actions. The Stoic principle of repressing your actions focuses on the importance of self-control and discretion in one's actions and reactions. It advocates for thoughtful restraint and measured responses as opposed to impulsive and unconsidered behavior that can lead to regrettable outcomes. This principle is not about suppression of genuine expression or healthy emotional responses, but encourages temperance in how these expressions are managed and articulated. The goal is to ensure that actions are always aligned with reason and virtue, rather than being driven by fleeting emotions or external pressures. To implement this principle effectively, Consider these practices. Mindfulness. Maintain a state of awareness about your thoughts and feelings. Being mindful helps you recognize when you are being driven by impulsive emotions that may lead to rash actions. Pause and reflect. Before taking any action, especially in emotionally charged situations, take a moment to pause and reflect. This pause provides space to consider the consequences of your actions and whether they align with your long-term goals and STOIC principles. Consider the long-term effects. When deciding on a course of action, think about the long-term effects rather than just the immediate outcomes. This can help prevent decisions that you might later regret. Consult with wisdom. When unsure about how to act, consult either with your own accumulated wisdom or seek advice from a mentor or a wise friend. This can provide additional perspectives that temper rash decisions. Practice discipline. Regularly practice self-discipline in small everyday actions to strengthen your willpower and ability to control impulsive behaviors. Like muscles, mental and emotional discipline grows stronger with consistent exercise. By focusing on repressing impulsive actions and fostering a disciplined and considered approach to behavior, individuals can achieve greater harmony within themselves and in their interactions with others. This disciplined approach prevents the turmoil that often follows rash decisions and promotes a life led by reason and virtue. Number 9. The power of acceptance. The Stoic principle of the power of acceptance is rooted in understanding and embracing things as they are, rather than resisting the reality of current circumstances. This principle teaches that much of our discontent and distress arise not from the events themselves, but from our resistance to them. Acceptance in this context does not imply passive resignation, but an active engagement with reality that allows for a more serene and effective response to life's challenges. Embracing acceptance involves several layers of realization and practice. Recognize what is within your control. The foundational Stoic teaching is to differentiate between what we can control, our thoughts, perceptions, and actions, and what we cannot control, which includes most external events and the actions of others. Acceptance focuses on embracing every situation just as it is, without attempting to force it into what we think it should be. Reduce emotional reactivity. By accepting things as they are, you naturally reduce your emotional reactivity. The frustration and stress that come from wanting the world to be different are alleviated when you accept the world as it unfolds. This doesn't mean you don't strive to improve your circumstances, but that you do so from a place of calm understanding rather than desperate need. Cultivate peace and contentment. Acceptance allows for a greater sense of peace and contentment. When you stop fighting reality, you begin to find tranquility, even in challenging situations. This peace is not the absence of trouble, but the ability to maintain a calm spirit amidst the trouble. Engage in mindful reflection. Regularly engage in reflection to understand your typical reactions to frustrations and obstacles. Mindfulness meditation can be a practical tool in fostering an attitude of acceptance. It teaches you to observe your thoughts and feelings without judgment, and to accept them as temporary and not necessarily reflective of reality. Practice gratitude. Part of acceptance involves focusing on what you have rather than what is missing or desired. Practicing gratitude shifts your perspective from scarcity and loss to abundance and appreciation, making acceptance of current circumstances more natural. Implement proactive adjustment. Acceptance also involves a proactive adjustment of one's actions based on the situation at hand. It requires an understanding that while you cannot control certain aspects of life, you can always control your response. This includes making strategic adjustments to your plans, recalibrating your goals, or finding new ways to tackle problems. Develop resilience. Over time, practicing acceptance builds resilience. You become more adept at handling stress and setbacks because you are less attached to specific outcomes and more focused on handling each moment as it comes. Empower decision-making. With acceptance comes clearer thinking. Freed from the cloud of frustration and resistance, you can make decisions that are based on a more rational assessment of your circumstances. This clarity leads to more effective strategies for personal and professional growth. The power of acceptance teaches that by embracing the reality of our situations without undue emotional disturbance, we can find a greater sense of serenity and empowerment. This Stoic practice not only helps in coping with life's inevitable ups and downs, but also enhances our ability to thrive amidst them. Number 10. Living according to nature. Living according to nature is a central tenet of Stoic philosophy, urging individuals to align their lives with their own intrinsic nature and the universal laws governing the world. This principle is not just about environmental or external nature, but encompasses a deeper philosophical meaning: to live in harmony with the reason and rationality that Stoicism posits as the core of human nature. Understanding and practicing this principle involves several key aspects. Identification with inner nature. To live according to nature, one must first understand their own essential character and rational capacities. This involves deep introspection to discover one's true desires, motivations, and values, stripping away societal influences and superficial wants that often cloud judgment. Harmony with universal nature. Stoics believe that the universe is governed by reason, and as part of the universe, humans are intrinsically linked to this rational structure. Living according to nature means recognizing this connection and striving to think and act in ways that are consistent with reason and virtue. Cultivation of virtue. Virtue is the highest good in Stoicism and is considered the natural fulfillment of human potential. Practicing virtues like wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance is seen as living in accordance with one's true nature because these virtues represent the rational and moral excellence toward which nature directs us. Acceptance of external events. Living according to nature also involves accepting the external events that occur in the natural course of the universe, recognizing that these events do not disturb the moral worth or the peace of a virtuous person. This acceptance is not passive, but an active acknowledgement that everything external is indifferent to one's ethical character. Proactive adaptation. While acceptance is key, Stoics also advocate for a proactive adaptation to circumstances. This means making the best use of whatever happens in a manner consistent with nature. For example, facing adversity with courage or experiencing good fortune with temperance. Rational decision-making. Every decision should be made through the lens of reason and how it aligns with the natural order. This rational approach ensures that actions are considered ethical and contribute to the well-being of oneself and others in the community. Simplification of life. Living according to nature often means simplifying one's life to focus on what is truly essential and natural, removing excess and luxury that distract from genuine happiness and virtue. Responsiveness to change. Understanding that nature is constantly changing, Stoics remain flexible and responsive to life's flux. This dynamic approach allows one to remain steadfast in virtue while adapting tactics and strategies to meet the ever-evolving challenges of life. Development of inner peace. By aligning one's life with nature and virtue, Stoics achieve ataraxia, or undisturbed peace of mind. This peace comes from knowing that one is living rightly according to the dictates of nature and rational thought, regardless of external circumstances. Community and relationships. Finally, living according to nature involves fostering healthy relationships and contributing to the community. Stoics view humans as social beings, naturally inclined to care for each other, and thus living according to nature includes seeking the common good. Living according to nature is fundamentally about seeking alignment between one's inner self and the larger rational order of the universe. By embodying this principle, Stoics strive to lead lives of deep fulfillment and tranquility, grounded in the wisdom of their most natural selves.